Fendi said.
It's hot.
Hey, it's Nikki Jensen.
And Brie Piccone.
And we're Late to the Party, a weekly podcast about film, fashion, and pop culture from two best friends mentally in 1989. Today we are talking about 1989 by Taylor Swift. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Georgie Sawyer, who is in her 1989 era right now, a major Swiftie, a part of our Late to the Party girl squad, if you will. Welcome to the show, Georgie.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. I was literally just talking about how much I love this podcast and I love Taylor Swift. So this is kind of like the crossover episode of my existence.
Well, lucky to have you.
This is exciting.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
I feel like this is a really important era for Taylor Swift, so we need another Swiftie on.
100%. This is going to be major, I think, because it's like where she was at when 1989 came out is so different than where she's at now. 1989 Taylor's version, I think it's just going to be different, but it's going to be so good.
Yes. I mean, I feel like, Taylor Swift fans have very like personal relationships to her songs. And I feel like we're all at very different places than 9 years ago when 1989 dropped. So it'll be fun for us to like relive it when Taylor's version drops.
I'm so excited. I was thinking about it today. Taylor Swift is 10 years older than I am. So I've always kind of felt like as she was like living her life and like her teens and her early 20s and all that, like as she's living it and then writing about it and then releasing it, like by the time it's coming out and I'm listening to it and absorbing it, I'm like, this is for me. This was about me. This is where all I'm doing. So it's like the re-releases have been like kind of everything for me.
I love that. And like we're in between. So we're like 5 years younger than Taylor Swift. So she's like the bigger sister who like she has this experience. The album comes out. We have this experience.
Exactly. She does so much for us.
She does.
Truly. Without even intending to. Or maybe she does. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah. So just tell us about your Swiftie journey. How long have you been a Swiftie?
Oh my gosh, my Swiftie journey. So the first album I ever bought with my own money was Taylor Swift by Taylor Swift. And I like carpooled. I remember I was in second grade when it came out and I was in a carpool group to school and we would like listen to it nonstop. I would like look out the window and like put my hand on the glass and like think I knew what heartbreak was. Truly, I was 7 years old and I was like, this is devastating,
Yeah.
And I really felt like I knew what was happening. And then I was a Swiftie pretty much like throughout. I did have a moment in time like junior year, senior year of high school where I thought I was like too cool, which is unfortunate. I hate that I did that.
I feel like we all had that for a moment.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. To her, I just like was like, oh yeah, I only listen to like underground indie music like Arctic Monkeys. Like I'm sure you don't even know who that is. Deeply embarrassing for me. Embarrassing era. And then I just kind of like got back into it when I was an adult and I was like, whatever, this rocks and she rocks and I am a girl and I love being a girl. So that's kind of my whole journey. I've been here from the beginning, even though we did have some time off.
Yeah. I love that. I mean, I relate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys like the same?
Pretty much.
Yeah. What is your journey?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was with Taylor when she was like in her country days. Like, and then I want to say it was right before 1989. I started like checking out a bit. And I feel like this album checked me back in. Like,
sure.
The pop, like anthems. I don't know. Just Shake It Off really hit hard for me for whatever reason. But I do remember there was like a period of time for where I was like, oh, I really love Taylor Swift for her country music. And then I was like, oh, I don't know. Because she did start to do like a little pop. And then I remember like a lot of people were like, what? She has to stay in her lane, and me included. And I don't know why I was like that. Then when Shake It Off came out, though, I was like, oh, hey, wait a minute. She's onto something. And
I have distinct memories of like Brie and we were in college. So I know we're old, but we'd gotten to college. We had our first apartment in 1989 came out that same semester. So this was our like new romantics blank space. It was my hoe phase. So I got to live this out with the soundtrack.
That's so special.
I
I will say 1989 feels very like the moment where she became pop and then she like became hated because they were like, your country, like you need to, and even now when you ask people, do you like Taylor Swift? So often I hear, oh, I like old Taylor. I like Taylor when she was country. Like she should have just stayed country. And I'm like, babe, you don't know. If you don't know, just you don't know. That's fine.
I'm glad she didn't though. I mean,
Same.
I really like Midnight's even like
Midnight's is a masterpiece, honestly. I'm obsessed. I think everything she does is like she doesn't miss.
She doesn't.
I slept on Lover for a long time. I'll say that. But you know what? I came back in full force, so I forgive myself.
I feel like there's so much revisionist history with Taylor Swift now, since like more people got on the Swiftie train after Folklore and Evermore. Because right when she was about to transition, so like Red was critically a success and people loved Red where she dipped her toes into pop. But the people that were like, oh, I liked her before when she was country, no, they didn't. Everyone was making fun of her then. And no one even like acknowledged her songwriting back then. So I think it's really funny, just like I hate to say it, but like misogyny around Taylor Swift in general.
Say it. Let's get right into that. Like, yeah, for sure. The amount of like how Brie was saying, like I've heard like she should have just stayed in her lane is like insane. Like we're not supposed to change with time. What? Yeah. I'm so confused.
Also, like, thank God she did, because early Taylor, as much as I love it, I'm glad she had to get rid of the fake country accent.
Yeah, I feel like she's more authentic, especially in like 1989. Like, just
yeah,
I don't know.
She kind of embraces it too. Like, this is the era where she's like, oh, I kind of look like a supermodel because I am like 6 feet tall. I'm gonna like do my pap walks out of the gym, you know?
Yeah,
she
that's
owned
so
herself.
funny. I feel like people who think that like she needs to go back to her pre-pop roots don't realize that country Taylor is fake. Yeah. She doesn't exist. Yeah, so like pop Taylor's like more authentically her, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
definitely.
Because the fake country action is really, really funny. Love her for it. She ate it up, but like
yeah, she fooled us all for a moment there.
For sure. Yeah. Oh, I feel like it's like fake country. You're from Chesapeake, right?
Yeah.
So like, you know how back in the day we would all put on a little bit of a something sometimes?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think like, that was like Taylor Swift.
My mom like still does that, like to service people because she thinks it's like so sweet. She goes, "Oh, honey," and I'm like, "You don't sound like that. You don't talk like that. That's fake." But
dude,
yeah,
my aunt has a New York accent and a Southern accent at the same time.
It's wild.
It's so weird. I love it.
But yeah, that's where Taylor Swift during that era exists.
Yeah, definitely finding herself truly. I mean, she was a baby. She was a child. So, but yeah, 1989 I think was like the moment. And then it's like that was the moment when she like became hated, and then that is like what birthed Reputation. So it's like kind of like when you think of those two like together, it's like she did this and like she stepped out and like for once tried something new and everyone had something to say about it. And then that's like when everything went down.
It's crazy that it was in the span of like a year and a half too, like doing research for this. It felt like in my life it was like 5 years, but it was like 1 year.
The whole everything felt like time stood still, genuinely. And I'm trying to not be dramatic, but that was real for me, and that was real for you. It's a shared experience.
Yeah, no, it really was. And it's so interesting how 1989 comes out and it's such a success. It's like a cultural reset when Blank Space drops.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and that's her most listened to song ever.
And it still plays today.
It does.
Like even on the radio and stuff, you still hear it. I feel like this album, there's like no skips, and I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Like Blank Space I've heard a million times and I don't skip it when it comes on.
Yeah,
like
same.
You just you just listen to this record and you're like, I feel cool. I am her, you know?
Definitely.
So,
It's so crazy too. So a little facts about 1989, so we can just like jump right in. So it was released on October 22nd or 27th, 2014. It's inspired by 1980s synth pop. She conceived it after Red loses Album of the Year at the 2014 Grammys, and she basically internalizes that criticism and takes it to heart and says, okay, I need to make an album that's sonically cohesive. In a dream she's like, oh, I gotta make this my full pop transition, no matter what my label says. And then it just like goes from there. But the album is really sonically cohesive, I will say.
yeah.
Max Martin too, right?
Max Martin, the king of
Actually,
pop.
Is this her first collaboration with Jack Antonoff?
It is. Yeah.
I love that guy.
I do too.
I love that guy. And like, I love their relationship and their creative duo. And I say this a lot. Like, I mean, I was listening to 1989 all day today thinking about it. And there are certain like guitar parts. And I hear it more and more as like her music goes on. Like, I hear it a lot in Midnights where it sounds like a Bleachers record, like sung by Taylor. And I don't mean that to like discount her, because obviously she does the writing, she does everything, and she's a part of it. But like, you can sense like his production and everything, and it's so unique. Like, you can spot it, I feel like.
Truly. I mean, hot take. All of my favorite Taylor Swift songs are produced by Jack Antonoff.
Jack Antonoff, 100% me too.
Yeah.
And like, you can hear it, like, you know when it's a Jack song. 100%. Yeah.
Were you a fan of Fun back in the day?
Fun was like Fun. I was like still pretty young when like Fun phased out. But I was a fan of I was a really big fan of Bleachers, especially when I was in my Too Cool for Taylor Swift era. Like, I saw Bleachers in concert. I was like, this is such an underground indie band. Like, nobody knows who this is. Yeah, we don't talk about her, but yeah, no, I love Bleachers. I was a fan of Jack like when he started doing his own thing. Like, I know the popular Fun songs, but they kind of broke up before.
Well, they came and went. For sure. Yeah. That was like also 1 year that felt like 10.
Is that true? They were only together like a short while?
Mind blown.
Oh, wow. They came, they dropped some bangers, and they left.
Truly. And then Jack Antonoff just took our favorite girls and made great hits.
Literally all of our favorite girls, he's just kind of like collected them like Pokemon, and like he's just kind of like in charge of everything, I feel like.
Which I love.
Yeah, definitely. But sometimes I feel like people like, he kind of doesn't look like he would be like the underground like producer of all the pop music that we love, but like he is. And I feel like not that many people know, unless you're a fan of Bleachers, like know who he is, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize he produced for so many people until I researched this album.
Oh, so many Lana songs, a lot of Norman fucking Rockwell.
Yeah, it makes sense though. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah. But... And he's like good friends with Lorde. I know he's like produced a lot for her. And I'm just like, how does it feel to be like the coolest guy alive? Like, truly. I think he's kind of just like also like one of the girls.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I love that.
He's tapped into something.
Yeah, definitely.
Without getting too gossipy, have you listened to the Mark Maron interview with Jack Antonoff, where he talks about how he basically, if you're a Gaylor, he basically is like Taylor Swift. He kind of like says something about that and retracts it. Like, oh no, she's not gay.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, it's my gay agenda.
No, I was thinking about this a lot today because we're talking 1989. We're in the Karlie Kloss era. We're in that era, and I feel like I could dive more into the subject matter. But I was also thinking, like, most things that I see feel like it's talked about by a person who's like never had a female, like a close female friendship. And I'm not trying to be like it's fake, but I'm also like, if you haven't like smooched your girls a couple times, like, are you really girls? You know?
That's my Karlie Kloss theory. I think she was just secretly in love with her.
oh, we think Taylor was in love with her, but Karlie was not in love with Taylor.
Maybe. That's just something in my heart that says that, but I don't know.
Wait, so what did Jack Antonoff say?
Basically he surrounds himself with a bunch of gay women. And then Mark Maron goes, like, Taylor Swift? And he goes, no.
Oh, I see.
Wow, I love that. I also love that there's so much speculation and nothing has ever been said about it.
No. I mean, why would it be? It's not.
No, it's nobody's business. But it's like, even from Karlie's side of things and her whole, especially now that like they don't talk, but then she was at the Eras tour, like that's a lot to unpack for me. Why was she there? What's going on? But like the fact that if she feels like she doesn't have a relationship to uphold with Taylor, like why wouldn't you drop that? Like why wouldn't you say that? Like why wouldn't you flex if you could?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I and I'm trying to get off the Gaylor thing because I've gotten a lot of pushback.
You're like on it.
Well, no, because it's very rare that I have another Swiftie to like commiserate with. But I started to think about it because Taylor Swift isn't always vocal about who she's with in general, guy or gal. But out of her girlfriends, the only two like women she hasn't remained friends with are Diana Agron and Karlie Kloss.
That's something to think about. It's something to consider
between them.
Yeah. That's a lot for me. That's a lot. I haven't really like gone that way because I felt like that girl group, like the Calvin Harris girl group, was so serious, and then it was like all of a sudden very not serious. But the truth is, like, she's still friends with every single one of the girls that's like in the Bad Blood music video.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and I only call them the Calvin Harris girl group because it's the girl group at the Calvin Harris pool party.
Mm-hmm.
The 1989 era. We know the pictures I'm talking about. Yeah.
Well, how do we feel about the Taylor Swift girl squad? Because she seemed to like invent the girl squad. Yeah.
I forgot about that. She did kind of invent the girl squad.
That was her rise and fall with this era, if you ask me. It was like everyone was on board and then we got the ick.
No, I completely agree. At the time, I had a bunch of friends in high school that like we wanted to be them. And like I'm not friends with any of them anymore, but like, and that's so real, that's kind of a canon event. But I mean, I think now, like looking at my life literally in Taylor Swift eras all the time, where I'm like, oh, I'm in my 1989 era. What I mean by that is like I'm focused on my friends like so much, but like the whole girl group, it was very like pinnacle for the time. It was kind of the brand of 1989, I think, which I love, but it was kind of a lot for the moment. It was,
I think she talks about not having a lot of friends growing up. And I think it just kind of like when you're Taylor Swift and you have access and you're meeting all these people, like, why wouldn't you? And I think you're right about the single Taylor Swift era, because she's trying to take her reputation of being guy obsessed. And this whole album is turning that, idea of her on its head, which I love.
Definitely. That definitely feels like the era I'm in, and like that's totally how I see it, where it's like I'm not like I'm single, I'm not focused on dating, I'm focused on my friends, and like I am in New York mentally at all times. So
same. Yeah. Sorry, I love you, Ben, but same. I mean, I'm not single, but in my mind I'm like Taylor Swift in 1989.
Sometimes you have to be single for Taylor Swift to make sense.
Yeah.
Or like be going through a breakup. I think that's very important, to go through breakup. So like even if it's temporary, sorry Ben, tomorrow we'll reset. Yeah. Just mentally.
He knows he can't relate to Taylor Swift, so he's like, okay.
Yeah, do what you gotta do. It's like all those girls that like broke up with their boyfriends for a day when the 10-minute version of All Too Well came out. It's like yeah, it's like it's better to relate in the moment, I think, and then just do it. You gotta do what you have to do.
Oh my god, when that short film dropped, I stopped what I was doing, and it was when Ben and I first started dating, and I was like, we have to stop and watch it. And he just like, after reconnecting after 10 years of not seeing me, I'm just like crying, and he's like, this is really sad, what are you watching?
I cried the whole day. I took a personal day that day, actually. And
Yeah.
it sounds really ridiculous, but what's needed to be done, I think.
It's cathartic. I feel like a lot of Taylor Swift music is cathartic.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She hits a nerve for sure. But yeah, Taylor Swift single, I like that look on her for the 1989 era.
Definitely. I think that's the right move for sure. And I feel like Calvin Harris was part of it a little bit, but he's also kind of like a fake boyfriend. Like, who remembers him? Hardly anyone. Who is he? We don't know.
I forgot all about that.
Same. I forgot he existed.
Okay, everyone that I talked to, I'm like, oh yeah, the Calvin Harris did it. And they're like, nobody remembers that happened because it's the least important thing that I think maybe has ever happened in the Taylor Swift timeline.
Yeah.
Pretty irrelevant to her, I think.
I think so. I have nothing to say about that man.
No, there's nothing to be said.
Yeah.
I also feel like like we were saying, like a lot of her songs are cathartic, like we cry, like there's so many of her songs that I'm like, I want this at my wedding. Like there's so many of these songs that like mean so much to me. But then like really when I look at 1989 and like going over it today, I was like, these songs are just like so fun. And these songs, like I want to go out with my girls, I want to dance, I want to kiss a stranger, like I just like want to have fun and like live my life. And like sometimes I think people feel like if songs, and because she gets so much hate, they're like, oh, it's just pop and like that doesn't have a meaning and like yada yada. And I'm like, okay,
have meaning.
Yeah. And I'm like, I think I hear it mostly about like Shake It Off, you know, people are like, that's so dumb. That isn't. I love Shake It Off, and I'm like, I'm dancing around my apartment weekly to Shake It Off because I'm just like, this sparks joy, and that's the whole point, I think.
Yeah, and I think at this time too, I think in a post-me society, maybe Shake It Off doesn't, it either hits more or less because it's like Shake It Off is a really fun pop song, and it's really smart that she's very self-aware, and it's a good intro to 1989 because she's like, I know what I am, and you're not going to phase me anymore. I'm going to own it. So yeah, I think just the meification of it all might have a weird taste in people's mouth, but Shake It Off's cute and it's a vibe.
No, I think Shake It Off is a vibe. Me is a completely different conversation.
Yeah. I don't even want to talk about me.
Yeah, I think Taylor Swift doesn't want to talk about it either. I feel like she knows what she's done, and I think she takes that one back.
She's ashamed. No,
but there's, oh my God, a couple like months ago, I was watching the Miss Americana documentary, and she is so proud to make Me, which is such a heartbreaking event.
It is. It's, you can't help her, you know? And it's also like, I feel like when you watch that film and you know how she felt about it in the moment, and then you see the impact, and then the fact that it was a single and she opens Eras Tour with Lover, and like that didn't make it, like, you know, she takes it back.
It should have been sorry. Cruel Summer.
Everyone knows that, and she knows that now.
Yeah.
You know, she's redeemed herself, I think.
Oh, for sure. Well, speaking of favorite songs, let's talk our favorite songs on 1989. What are yours?
Mine is by far I Wish You Would. That song makes me want to scream and cry and like crash my car, but like in a hot way, like not like in a destructive way, kind of like the way that she crashes her car in the Look What You Made Me Do music video, and then you like open up and just like she's covered in jewels. Like that's kind of how I see myself. Like that one's so good. Blank Space is good. I like when Blank Space plays because everyone knows it. You know, I feel like everyone kind of appreciates it alongside with me. But there's a few, especially today, that I was like listening to it and I was like, she went off. I love Style. We could talk about the Harry Styles implication.
Oh, we will.
Yeah.
We will.
And then my other favorite one is You're in Love. I think that one slept on too much. Yeah. What about you guys?
I slept on that one.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
What were your favorites, Brie?
I remember being obsessed with like Out of the Woods at the time. Just, I don't know. It just really spoke
God
to me.
tier.
Yeah.
God tier bridge.
God tier.
All you
God
had to do
tier
was stay.
bridge. So good.
Shake It Off. I know that one was like, I feel like it got mixed reviews or something, but I loved it. And Blank Space. I really love Blank Space, especially for the music video though, because I remember listening to it for the first time and seeing the music video like at the same time. Like that's how I heard the song for the first time, and I was just like, yeah, like I love how over the top it is. I love how she like cuts up the dude's shirt and like throws his stuff out and sets things on fire. Like
throws his phone in the pool.
I was there.
That's one of my favorite. That's like one of my favorite Taylor Swift music videos of all time, and I don't even say that lightly because I have a lot of them, and it's so good. The scene where she's in the bed with her black little outfit and the cake, and she's like, I feel that internally so often.
And then she gets like the golf club and beats the car. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
It's great.
Chills. I have chills thinking about it.
Same, actually. I mean, I know we're talking like this album really changed the world and society, which low key I kind of feel. And it could have just been where I was when this album dropped. But Blank Space, to me, is the song where she transcended into just like superstardom.
Definitely.
There's also a lot of great lyrics in that song. Like,
yes. And she has, yes, she said that that's her favorite lyric that she's ever written is "Darling, I'm a nightmare, just like a daydream." And it is. It's one of her best. Which other ones are your favorite, Nikki?
Oh, I have two. I love Out of the Woods and I Know Places. I Know Places is my favorite Taylor Swift song. Full stop.
That is major. That is major information, and that just says a lot about you in a good way.
What does this say about me?
I think, okay, I feel like the way that you can be a Swiftie and have a specific favorite song means something. My favorite Taylor Swift song is on Reputation. It's New Year's Day. And I feel like when when a Swiftie who's like a Swiftie like can be like, yes, I have a favorite song and like stick by it, I think that really like means something.
Yeah, I never hear I Know Places, but I want to give it its flowers because Ryan Tedder went off with the production. It's also the song that has a great bridge, but it also it's a little more coy. I think Taylor Swift sometimes it's cool is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. It's like she's aware of what kind of relationship this is. And I love when she's self-aware.
We love self-aware Taylor. Also, yeah, Ryan Tedder, a name we don't hear enough, but like thank you for Halo by Beyonce, Ryan Tedder. Like he is also like part of the music. He's like kind of the music industry in a way, and like people don't know.
Did he do Bleeding Love as well?
He did.
Like Leona.
Yeah.
Lewis.
Yeah. And he also like is One Republic.
Yeah. He did Apologize, which I just think of Gossip Girl, which hits home for me. I just picture Taylor Swift like Serena hiding in I Know Places.
Oh, that's so personal. I love that. I also feel like I'm like looking at my list now and it's like Clean is like something that is culturally significant, I think.
Are you an Imogen Heap fan?
Casually. Yeah. I love the impact, you know?
Yeah.
I've heard you guys talk about them on here.
Yeah. Oh, you'll hear it more. We just did a podcast with Phil from Podcast Like It's 1989, and we talked about Garden State, which has Frou Frou, which is Imogen Heap's first musical endeavor.
Yeah.
And I wax poetically about it.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
But yeah.
I love that. I'm gonna like usually like whenever you guys talk about that, like any music, I'll like pause and I'll go listen and I'll be like, okay, now I'm relevant to the conversation, and then I come back.
No, Frou Frou's great. I love Imogen Heap.
Okay, I'm on it. I'm writing it down. I'm booked and busy and it's on my to-do list.
If you want to feel like you're in a movie, listen to Let Go by Frou Frou.
Okay, I'm so excited.
I'm sure that's what Taylor Swift was thinking too for Clean. She was like, "Oh, I've seen Garden State, bro," and she went right to London.
Makes sense.
I love that for her.
She's coming clean.
Yeah.
Any other? How do we feel about Bad Blood?
I don't think it's a bad song. I don't know. I like the music video. I think it's cool.
It's fun.
I don't know if I have strong feelings on Bad Blood, to be honest.
As it's just like a song, have like pretty indifferent feelings about it, but I would like to talk about the music video, and I would like to talk about Kendrick Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like, let's just, where did that come from? Also, not talked about enough. Also, I feel like there's so much drama and so much everything because of the Mr. West drama with like the people who listen to rap and hip hop and the people who like listen to pop. And I listen to both. Like, usually on my Spotify rap, Taylor Swift is like my number 1 artist, and usually Kendrick Lamar is my number 2 artist. And nobody be talking about the crossover and like how he was like, I like her music and respect her enough as an artist, and like I think that this collab's gonna go crazy. And it did. I think it kind of went crazy.
Yeah, it's wild though, because I was watching the Bad Blood music video today, and it was like an unlocked memory that Kendrick Lamar was on the remix. And this is the same year or around the same time To Pimp a Butterfly comes out, which it's like him and Taylor Swift make no sense then, but now thinking about it, make no sense. And it's a weird canon event.
It makes 0 sense, and yet it's like a masterpiece crossover. And like, it's weird because I don't really feel that way about Bad Blood in general. I think it's like a good pop song, but then like I just like see them collaborating, and I think that they're both like songwriting geniuses, and I'm like, whoa, like imagine how it was behind the scenes of that music video is all I'm saying. Like, I'm sure it was crazy.
So many stars. Kendrick Lamar.
Do you think Kendrick Lamar is gonna be on Taylor's version, like on the re-release?
I hope so.
Maybe. We'll get into speculation about Taylor's version, because what do you guys think about the rumors that it's going to be like a double album with people featured, or is it just going to be her? What do we have any thoughts on that?
I mean, I
do.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead, Brie.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know. I just like read this article that was like, no, it's gonna be just Taylor. But I'm like, wait, how do they know this? Because I thought everything is unconfirmed right now. Like, everything is speculation. But
I mean, we have the track list,
yeah,
with the vault songs,
but she doesn't have anyone listed in the credits, which is interesting because usually it would say like featuring someone, right?
Yeah, but you don't know. Like, she could the same day, she could hit us with an Evermore. You know, nobody saw that coming. I was really banking on Style featuring Harry Styles. I think we all were. I think we all wanted that, and I still believe it can happen. I know that they had been talking like 6 months ago, probably now is when I saw that, which they've always been on good terms. And I almost thought they were going to date, but now, you know, Travis is on the scene, which I love. I actually am a fan of that, but like, that's not what this is about. But
well, no, you know what? I had a revelation today.
Please,
let's hear it.
It might be a PR relationship. I still stand by that. But Travis Kelce, as far as if it's PR or not, it's a good look. And
it's a good look.
And he is a good looking man and seems like he has a personality, which is really rare for a Taylor Swift love interest, guy or girl. So I just mad love for that.
It was the picture of them walking out or whatever, walking in, and she is in that coat. Like, these are pictures that came out a few days ago. Her heels on and her still being like 6 inches shorter than him. That really did it for me. It's like a beautiful look. Just like as like aesthetically, it's a beautiful couple. You know?
Oh yeah. You know what did it for me? You know the recent like pap walk with her and Travis Kelce where she's dressed like Lizzie McGuire?
The short skirt and the sheer long sleeve.
Yes. Well, her like lipstick looks faded and he looks like he has some foundation on. And I'm like, ooh, they made out. And that I like.
You just need some excitement. That's all.
Yeah, that's all I need.
You just don't want it to be boring.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a Gaylor, truthfully.
I also I saw recently he was like on the sidelines of a game, not his own game, and somebody saw him and gave him a friendship bracelet, and it said on the map, because the whole thing is like she's putting him on the map, like nobody knew who he was nobody before her, which is not true. Like he's a celebrity in his own right. Like he's not as nobody can dispute that he was as
females
Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
but like everyone, like mostly girls, making fun of like, oh, she really put him on the map. But anyway, someone gave him a bracelet that said that, and he like laughed and like smiled, and it's like the ego is non-existent. The fact that he wouldn't be like, no, I was on the map, I'm a star football player, yada yada. Like he was like, no, true, that's my girl.
I love that.
I love that.
Yeah, I know I've been a hater, but I can recognize,
Yeah, you can come back from that. You can be on the right side of history.
Okay, thank you. I just think Taylor Swift is full of nuance, is really my big point, which is like, we don't really know, like, is style about Harry Styles?
I think Out of the Woods about Harry Styles?
I think so, but is style?
Oh, you're saying that's too obvious?
It seems a little obvious. It seems like we as Swifties tend to really like inflate Taylor and say she's like a lyrical mastermind and a genius and all this and that. Yet we all are like, and style is about Harry Styles.
Oh, Harry Styles. Yeah, I've never really thought about it that way, because she is so like twisty, and like the Easter eggs, and like will hide things, and like we'll never know, and like that was kind of obvious if she did that. But it's also kind of funny. And I like it. Yeah. Out of the Woods being about Harry Styles being a bad driver, though, is like one of my all-time favorite things.
Yeah, I feel like that must be real. Like,
well, they did get into that like snowmobile accident.
Yeah, and honestly, relatable. Like I'm also a terrible driver, so that's something me and Harry Styles have in common.
Also, what is it with celebrities and skiing? Like, it just sounds really dangerous. I don't know. Like,
don't ski. That's my hot take.
The takeaway from this podcast is do not go skiing. Thank you.
But where were we? Ooh, Wildest Dreams. We haven't talked about Wildest Dreams.
Oh, duh.
Oh yeah, the heartbeat beat.
Iconic.
That's iconic. I love that song. It's like a classic sounding song, I feel like. Not classic Taylor Swift, but it kind of sounds like something that like I think like in 30 years nobody's gonna listen to Shake It Off, or people are gonna be like, oh, this is very old. But I feel like Wildest Dreams like sounds very timeless.
Agreed.
Yeah, I love Wildest Dreams.
Isn't that one of your bops?
Yeah, no,
not to put you on the spot.
No,
but...
it is. I just always forget about it. I don't know why, but this song and New Romantics too, I love, but I forget about them for whatever reason. Like I feel like, I don't know. I'd like to I wish they got more attention.
Yeah. Also, like Welcome to New York, that is kind of the pop song in my mind. Like that's so pop, and it's also I think where I live mentally. Like I said, like also the line, if we want to circle back to Gaylor, boys and boys and girls and girls, the world was silent when that
for
was
Taylor said. That line is punk rock.
Yeah,
for Taylor.
Yeah, and the fact that she would say that during her Karlie Kloss era, it feels dangerous. It feels dangerous. Yeah.
That being said, I believe most of these songs are in fact about Harry Styles.
Definitely. And like, is this pre Tom Hiddleston or no?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But Tom Hiddleston came right after this. So
timeline wise, like late 2012 to beginning of 2013, her and Harry Styles are allegedly together.
Yeah.
Then 2014 Radio Silence. It's about the girls or about Karlie. It is about Karlie Kloss. They're on the cover of Vogue together, for goodness sake. And they're like, yeah, that's Karlie Kloss. Yeah. Calvin Harris is 2015, and then 2016 is Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Because there's songs on Reputation about Tom.
Getaway Car.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Yeah. I don't think is there a single song about Calvin Harris?
Is it I Forgot That You Existed? Is that about him?
That sounds right. I think that sounds right for everyone. That's a shared experience I think that we're all having.
Or High Infidelity, maybe.
Maybe. Who knows?
Wow. Poor Tom.
I know.
Or
well,
Calvin.
Poor Calvin, I guess. But
I don't know why I called him Tom. See, I can't even remember his name. That's so irrelevant.
I will say something else about Travis Kelce that's so different. It's like not only is he not an artist, he's not British.
Yes.
Which I think is doing major things for everyone. He's so different. And everyone's like, saying he's the one because he's not like anybody else and like whatever. But
maybe it's a good thing he's not,
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's so strange that everyone like really wants Taylor to like get married to Travis Kelce and have like football babies. It blows my mind.
Yeah. I don't know. I think imagining Taylor Swift married is like incomprehensible to most of people's minds, at least to me.
To me too, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't like it.
I don't either. But you know what? I even liked her and Maddie Healy. So I'm in no place.
You know what? Me too. Me too. And I hate to say it, but I have been a fan of the 1975 for a very, very long time. And even like, it was in the 1989 era when he wore the shirt with the 1989 album cover. She wore the 1975 shirt. And I thought that was their moment. And then they had another moment and I thought he was the one. And he wasn't.
I loved it just for, don't we all, like, we know someone's bad for us or a dirt bag? I wouldn't say bad for us, but a dirt bag, and you still want to like hook up with them. I love that for Taylor.
They had a fun time together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Like they had a good little moment is all I'm saying. Just from the vibe. He just gives me that like crazy vibe.
We need a Maddie Healy song. Like,
yes.
Song about him.
Well, what song could be about Maddie Healy? Something from Midnight's?
Yeah.
Or The One? Maybe The One's about Maddie Healy?
Yeah, maybe. Because I mean, I guess they had a moment, right? Like back in the 1989 era, which I didn't even know that. And I think a lot of people maybe didn't realize that was like a thing. And they reconnected. And then, I don't know. I'm hoping next we'll get a more like an album or like a song that's like really about their current affairs.
I would love Harry Styles on Style in 1975 on 1989.
Yeah, that would be a dream. I was gonna say I just hope they ended like chill, because her girl group now, like, or her group, like the Phoebe Bridgers and the Maddie Healy of it all, like, to me that group is elite, and like I just hope that like they're good. They haven't been seen together, obviously that'd be weird, but like nobody knows how it ended, so I hope it's fine.
I hope so too.
Yeah,
I'd love Phoebe Bridgers back for a 1989 song. I just have a lot of wants.
Yeah, and honestly they should ask us. They should start asking specifically the Late to the Party podcast, like what needs to be done, and then do it.
Oh, Swifties would hate that. That would be exactly what no one wants except us.
I do feel like they should tell us what, like, they should ask us what we want. We want Phoebe, we want Maddie.
Yes.
Honestly, let's get a full like house music club song with Calvin Harris. Nobody knows who he is.
Yes.
Just bring him back for the moment. Who cares?
Yeah. Maybe that slut song will be like a bop.
Yes.
Like it'll be like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yes,
I'm
love
very
that.
like shocked by that title. I'm like, ooh, I'm intrigued. What is that going to be about?
Yeah, what is Slut going to be about?
Is it like empowering? Is it like I don't know.
I don't know.
What was
I'm
the
a little
context?
I'm a little like, I am scared about that one because I'm scared that she's gonna be like, everyone was mean to me and bullied me, and which is true, and I hate that. Like, I hate when people are like, she just plays the victim and like yada yada, and I'm like, okay, she's been the victim, babe. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
I don't like that either.
I have a feeling Slut's going to be like the man, where it's like she's discovered feminism a little bit.
Yeah.
But like to her, it makes sense and resonates. But I think it's going to be more along those lines.
Oh yeah, I hope so. I think the man is amazing.
I love the man, but I will say it doesn't like, it's not revolutionary, but I love the man.
Oh, no. Yeah. It doesn't, I think it was important for her, but I don't think it like changed society the way it changed her society.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which honestly, she did it for her, and I love that.
I love that too. That's a part of being a Swiftie, is realizing that like she is a little bit millennial cringe, and we love her for that.
Yeah, definitely. She's live, laugh, love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Same.
Did you guys remember like the marketing for 1989 at the time?
I remember the secret sessions like they were yesterday. Like if you told me now that they were still going on, I would believe it.
Yeah.
I think Taylor Swift is always like making chai cookies.
Definitely. And I also like, I think that was what brought back the surge in the Polaroid camera.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone had a Polaroid camera when that came out.
It did.
Nobody does that anymore. Nobody's doing that now.
Like, she turned us into hipsters.
I was gonna say it was very hipster core, very like get this on vinyl, which is still, you know, pretty normal, but like it was in Urban Outfitters, like the vinyls. It's a cool album. You feel cool when you listen to it. You feel cool when you're listening to it when you're in New York. Like, you know what I mean? It's just
we know what you mean. I'm having flashbacks right now.
Yeah, like you just feel like you're in the girl group and you feel cool, and it's a cool album, and like I think that was kind of like the vibe at the time.
I love those Polaroids.
I was gonna say, was there something like specific from like the marketing for the album that you were talking about?
I don't know. Like, I just remember, like, I remember she was doing like Diet Coke commercials and like Keds commercials and just promoting the album that way. Like, you could meet Taylor. Like, I just remember like seeing her. I guess she was being sneaky, like just like, oh yeah, this is my new album. Like, I don't know. She was very smart with her marketing. And then I think she just did a lot of Instagram posting too.
She was heavily on Instagram during that era.
Yeah, she was very online, and then it was like very shortly after that she was totally gone. And I kind of forgot about that as well, where it was like she was just like offline off everything. But yeah,
she was on Tumblr too.
She was on Tumblr, and this was like very like pre-influencer, obviously, where it's like she like you just like posted, and like everyone would like be like, oh, did you see what she posted? And then people would want to like recreate that, or like look like that, like look like that girl group at the pool party vibe. You know what I mean? And like I definitely remember like a lot of my friends being like, we're like that, we're those girls, we're at a pool party together, and like it's just like goals, #goals. Yeah. It was also like her model era too, so she's like hanging out with like the prettiest of the pretty. Well, which we love that. That's where she belongs.
I agree. Like, I loved as soon as Taylor Swift and Karlie Kloss, friendship wise, got together, and she was like strutting down the Victoria's Secret runway with Karlie Kloss hand in hand, and she was really leaning into like on the 1989 World Tour. She's doing this Victoria's Secret strut. Down the stage. I love her in that.
That was fun.
Model era. All the pap walks coming out of the gym and the little crop tops. Yeah. That's all the promo you really need.
True.
Yeah.
Also, do you guys remember she did on her YouTube? It was like she'd go to fans' houses and give them like a present.
Yes.
Or like she did the Christmas one where she wraps a bunch of gifts and hands them out, and like Scream Queens actually did a parody of that.
No, I did not remember that. That's crazy. Oh, Taylor.
That's like an unlocked memory. I love that. I love how like personal she like got with the fans.
I feel like in her heart, she's like still very much like that way.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like it's not as much like that anymore because like things are just crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, is that even possible? Like people would freak out. Like,
yeah,
it's too crazy now.
It's too crazy. And then it's like, even though back then, like, yeah, everyone was on Instagram, but like I feel like nowadays, like everyone's like chronically online and like has like things to say that it's like impossible.
Well, it's kind of different too because with TikTok and everything, like, have you seen those TikToks of people going to the Eras Tour concert movie and just
Yeah,
like
it's insane. Like sobbing, dancing, screaming. Like I saw one today. Like I agree. Like it's not the movie. It's not the movie that you sit there and like sit still and don't do anything. Like I kind of like a little like we're snapping, we're clapping, we're singing. But there's like this whole girls dance team that like got up during like What You Made Me Do in the movie theater and then did their own choreography to it. And it's kind of cringy.
So they planned for that moment? Like
it's all for the clout.
I think it was like 10 girls and like for their TikTok, they like went up in the front of the movie theater and like did their choreography to like Look What You Made Me Do. And I didn't like it.
It's madness.
I do thinking about 1989 and like how original 1989 was like her model era is super cool, like doing the model walks while she's on the 1989 tour versus how she dressed and acted for the 1989 section of the Eras tour. So different. Like she wore glittery, like she's twirling, she's like having more fun and like not being so like fierce.
Yeah. I do feel like it's a bit of a revisionist history. Am I crazy, guys? Like the 1989 era in 2014, 1989 is a New York City album. It is not a beach album.
Yeah, you mean like how the marketing now looks like a beach? Like, what? Is it just because there's seagulls on her sweater?
But no, but like she's like leaning in on the other promos for Taylor's version. She's at the beach. She's licking an ice cream cone.
It is weird. I was thinking about that and I was thinking, is it like she's from Rhode Island, right? Or she's from Pennsylvania, but she lives in Rhode Island now. And it's like, was I getting like coastal grandma? But then no, I was like kind of getting like beach.
Yeah. But 1989 is city, right?
We're downtown. We're in the Lower East Side. We are eating it up. Like we are those girls. We're the Samba girls, as like you were saying in one of the last episodes. Like we're her. Yeah. And that's totally how I feel, you know?
And then you go to Montauk in the summer. She has her Rhode Island or Hamptons house. Because I do know then she had that famous Rolling Stone cover where she is at the beach, stripped down. And there's a couple like 1989 promo shots of that on the Polaroid. But it's not just like her at the beach licking ice cream cones.
It doesn't sound beachy either. Like it's
welcome to New York.
Welcome to New York. We're on the subway. We're in the underground. We are out till 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. We're with our girls.
Taking Polaroids.
Yeah, totally. That's how I feel. It's almost like I get the vibe from 1989 that it's like antithesis of like clean girl era. I'm like, we're in the clubs, we're with our girls, we're drinking tequila sodas, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's how I see it. And it's just, we're not at the beach, babe. We're not. No. I don't get it either, and I don't really like it.
Thank you for it's been so hard keeping that in because people like online at least are like, I love everything she does. And I feel like even if I will end up loving it, my initial reaction to most Taylor Swift things, except 1989 when it came out, is always a little, is this cringe?
Yeah.
Is this not?
Yeah.
So that's
how
just the blessing of being a Swiftie.
Yeah, where you're like, what is this? And then you're like, oh, this is life-changing, but like also what are we doing? It's because I feel like it's like we don't see the vision until it's like fully done, but like she knows she took it. Yeah, I don't know.
For the album to come out, and maybe it'll all click. Maybe
I hope so.
Maybe it's the vault tracks. Maybe
I don't know. I totally agree though. It's not for the beach.
It's not giving.
It's not. And I also like, even people are like, the picture of her in the blue dress before she announced it, that everyone like saw it coming, was like, oh, soft girl era, soft girl era. And I was like, 1989 doesn't give me soft girl era. It does give me like crash my car era, literally in the Harry Styles way, and like figuratively in the like, I'm feeling every emotion and like,
Well, because 1989 is this one era in time where Taylor Swift isn't playing the good girl, isn't playing it safe.
Yeah.
She's defying her record label by being like, I'm going to go pop. I have a really strong vision. I'm going to basically, my theory is most of the songs, the core songs, are about like a couple months with Harry Styles and a little like some stragglers here or there. But she's like, this is one moment. This is one vision. This is who I am and who I want to be now. So I feel like it's interesting that it's not like soft to me, like you were saying.
Definitely not.
No, it's not. I agree. But everyone's like, oh, she's in her soft girl era. We're in 1989. And I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see that yet.
No.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. It's really like coming up on us fast too.
It is.
Yeah.
I know this episode will be released the day before as well.
Stop.
So
that's so exciting.
Well, we'll have to talk about it too on the pod.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh, can we talk about one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs, Wonderland?
Sure.
Which I believe is about Diana Agron.
Sure.
It's my belief. I think it's Diana Agron because she was big on Tumblr back then. I feel like I'm going to be telling this to people when I'm like old. You know that meme where it's like, sure, grandma? I'm like, remember when Diana Agron was popular on Tumblr?
Yeah. Like, that's culturally relevant, though. That's significant.
It is. Yeah. And then also, Diana Agron on her ribs had a whole, like, Alice in Wonderland quote.
That's right.
And then after this era, she got it removed.
I forgot about the Alice in Wonderland thing.
I totally forgot about that. Wow.
Everyone can say I'm crazy about Karlie Kloss, but that is one thing that happened.
Wow. Honestly, that has my jaw on the floor. I totally I kind of forgot about the tattoo, and then I don't even think I knew that she got it removed after this album came out.
Yeah.
Like, didn't they tell us don't rush into things? Wow.
Didn't it all seem new and exciting?
Does she have green eyes?
She has at least hazel eyes.
Okay, because it's flash green eyes.
Green eyes.
Also, I would like to talk about, to my current recollection, that entire song is gender neutral.
Yes.
And that's something to consider. Like, she's not afraid to name drop. She's not afraid to say, my boyfriend's in the club, he's older than us. Like, she's not afraid to say, like, him, he. A lot of songwriters intentionally, like, keep it nooch. So, like, everyone can relate. You know, this is about my partner, regardless, you know. She's not afraid to be like, this is my man, my man, my man. But, like, when she specifically writes a song and it is a love song and she's not like, my man, my man, my man, raises some questions for me.
Agreed. Also, not on 1989, Dress. I've always had a bone to pick with Dress from Reputation. Sure. Because yes, flashback when you met me, buzz cut, hair bleached, I understand. Sure. But what is the line where she's like, it's not your imprint on the bed. Like, what is it? What does she say? I am like a 0 on the Kinsey scale, and I've never thought about a man this way. Hold on.
There's an indentation in the shape of you.
Yes.
Only bought this dress so you could take it off. You made your mark on me, golden tattoo.
Ooh.
I am super straight, and every man imprinting on a bed looks the same.
They're all the same.
No,
it's special. It's special. You don't know. We'll never know. And also, I love that. Diana's eyes, and I would say they're greenish, hazel green. It wouldn't be a stretch to call them green. Lot to consider.
Wow.
Lot to consider with that.
Hey, that's all I will say about my theories. But I do think there is a fun, interesting world where Taylor Swift is mixing and mingling with a bunch of people and not just the people that we can like pinpoint.
Sure. And I think she should be doing that as much as possible. And I do hope, like, I know a lot of people say, like, it's just like so tragic. Every single thing about her life is public. She can't do anything on her own. But I'm like, she works with like the best of the best security, the best of the best team that like if she really wanted to, she could. And like she disappeared for over a year. Like literally nobody saw her. So I'm like, she could be doing whatever with whoever, whenever. And I feel like when she is seen in public, it is intentional.
I agree.
Yeah. So I do hope there's like another storyline where like she's doing so many things that we have no idea about.
Yeah, she must have like a good amount of control over her image at this point. Like,
I mean, wasn't she like hiding in trunks, moving place to place? Like, I agree, everything is intentional, and during this era, especially, like, I think she wants us to be talking about her.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna like I've made the mistake of being like, I don't think she's gay. I think she might be bi, but my point is, I think she's a lot more nuanced and like interesting than the narratives. But I think she wants these narratives to be very cohesive because it actually does help her.
Definitely. I think like the narrative that's out there like protects her in a way from like doing what she really wants, like who she really is. I don't think the narrative is like a farce, or I don't think it's like fake, but it's definitely like there's so much about her that no one will ever know, which I think is good.
That's what it should be.
I think so.
Yeah, we probably don't even know everything about her life. Like,
yeah, and it's definitely like I don't like when I see people talking like, because and the new like pictures of her and Travis being like she can't do anything without everyone following her and everyone knowing, and I'm like, she could. I feel that she could. She has enough personnel and like security to like do what would need to be done. But
no, she wants us to see.
She does.
Yeah, what we see is I think exactly what she wants us to see.
For sure. Well, and I love that about the 1989 album too, is it really is just a Polaroid of a time in her life. And she's kind of more so than in any other record, she's okay and kind of seems joyous in the misconceptions about her, in her messiness, in creating a narrative. Because I think in all these songs, she is creating a narrative that she hasn't before. Before it was like princesses and fairy tales and like true love, and this one she is like we do in our early 20s. We're shaping a different narrative for ourselves. Yeah,
definitely. And I also feel like before 1989, almost like what the public saw was 100% real, 100% her, because she was a baby. Like she didn't know. And I feel like 1989 was like, here's what I'll give you guys. This is me. And like, this is real, kind of a Camp Rock reference. Like, this is real. This is me. But like, there's so much more about me that like, I think you're so right. Like, she's so much more interesting, so much more deep than like even we know. And like it's kind of how I felt too when Folklore came out. We're like, where did this come from? Like, who is this? Like, but she'd always been that in a way,
Yeah.
And it feels like she could pull out an album at any time that like no one would see coming, but then she could be like, this is who I always was in a way. But like you only see the part of me that like I let you see.
Yeah. 100%. Well, she has to. And also this is the era where her new PR is Tree Pain, who handles her PR in a different way. So
I love her. I love her. There was a video of her at the opening night of the Eras Tour movie, and someone was trying to be like, Taylor, like, come over here. And she's like, I do what this redhead says. Like, I don't know. Like, she was like, I don't know. I'm not gonna go over there unless she says it's fine.
she really does lay down the law. Like, nothing slips by.
Love that.
Exactly. And that makes me feel like it's the fact that she's done that, and she's done that so well for so long, makes me feel like all the people being like, it's so sad that she can't, live a normal life. It's like, no, this is calculated. I think she's a mastermind.
She is.
Yeah.
Also, it's what she's chosen. Like, I think Taylor Swift is a rock star, and I think she wants to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If she didn't want to be, she wouldn't be doing all this, like giving us all that she's giving. Like, she wouldn't be re-recording. She wouldn't be.
Yeah, this isn't like a Britney Spears situation. Taylor Swift has autonomy.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think that makes her so much more like real,
Yeah.
Definitely.
She feels so like relatable, and like that makes it harder to listen to her, because I'm like, you're a pop superstar, you're the most famous person in the world, but like this song is just for me. It's just about me.
That does like surprise me sometimes. Like, I feel like I don't expect to relate, and then I'm like, wait a minute, she's just like a girl, like you and me. Like, I mean, it's really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Something must be in that woman's birth chart that just like, something to click and resonate with all of us.
It was like totally meant to be for her to be who she is.
Yeah.
Like, there's like no other pop star doing that, like doing what she's doing. Like, the second biggest pop star I can think of is like probably like Ariana.
Who, Beyonce.
Like, Beyonce's amazing. She came to the Eras Tour opening. That was so beautiful. I was so happy that happened.
I love Beyonce.
Me too.
Different artist though. Different artist than Taylor Swift.
Completely different. And like, I love that they're supporting each other, because everyone's trying to like put them against each other, and I'm like, girls, that's not what this is about.
And they're so different. Like,
they're so different. I feel like I couldn't listen to Beyonce and like know what was happening until I was like a full grown up.
Oh yeah. Have you listened to Renaissance front to back ever?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That is for grown-ups.
Yes. Yeah. It's actually a spiritual experience.
Yes. And I don't think I would like understand it unless I was like a fully formed human being. Whereas like Taylor Swift was like, any age, any stage, wherever you are, this is for you, and this is about your actual real life.
Yes. Taylor Swift has to listen to Renaissance front to back to she's
really
just like us.
She just like us. I know. I love when I hear Taylor Swift talking about her music taste, and I'm like, you like listen to music? You like listen to music that's not your music? And like, that's just crazy.
It is.
And I love it.
Folklore and Evermore, my biggest, like, where I was a Swiftie beforehand for sure, but when she had the National and Bon Iver on, I was like, oh, so she actually does have it like changed something in my brain that made me respect her so much more.
Like, the fact that her and like Bon Iver are like good friends, like, totally changed things for me.
It hits different.
It does.
It hits different.
Well, I would be remiss if we talked about all of 1989 and we didn't mention Harry Styles just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Are we? Oh, what is it called? I'm not, because I can't even think of their name.
Yeah.
What's their ship name?
What's their ship name? Is it
Haler?
Is it Haler?
Haler? Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, know. Once again, that relationship felt both 5 years long and 2 weeks long. Like, there's one set of paparazzi pictures that comes to mind. You know the ones, the coat,
the fox.
The fox.
Yeah,
and the beanie. Like, why was that relationship like the relationship?
Everyone really focused on it.
Yeah,
super focused on it. Is this post 1D breakup? Pre 1D breakup?
No, it's like in 1D,
right?
Yeah,
he's still in 1D. I'm very casually into 1D, so like I didn't know like when they broke up.
I feel like we were a little too old. Like we're the same age as Harry Styles, so it's a little harder to be like as obsessed. You know what I mean? When they're so
Yeah.
close. It's like I was never a believer because we're the same age. So
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah, I was not like very, very into One Direction at all. I'm very into Harry Styles now as a solo artist, obviously, but yeah, I feel so. Here's what I thought. Here's how I saw it going, right? I saw her Midnights. I saw the Joe Alwyn breakup. The day they broke up, I was crushed, right? True love's not real. And then I processed it for myself because obviously their breakup's all about me.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense. That doesn't make, they don't make sense together. Then she did Maddie Healy, which felt good for me, but it also was like this, I could kind of tell like this is maybe not long term, even though that's what I wanted. And there's been a part of me before, okay, pre Travis Kelce, because I am obsessed with that couple. Truly, I am one of them. There was a part of me that was like, the only person who understands her is Harry Styles. The only person who knows what her life is like is him. Like, yeah, she dates the 1975. The 1975 is not touring around the world selling out stadiums night after night. Big band. They're a big band, a lot of fans, big following, very famous.
Oh yeah. In my mind, they're the biggest band.
Yeah.
But yes, I know in the world that they are not.
Yeah, no, yeah, to me, but it's like they're not doing like the only person who's really doing what Taylor Swift is doing other than Beyonce and like obviously the bands of the world, you know, the Coldplays of the world, whatever.
It's
is
Harry.
Harry.
They're well
like in
matched
the pop
in that way.
In the pop realm for
Mhm.
sure. And that was totally my theory. It was like he understands her and like he knows her. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean that was the whole narrative around Joe Alwyn was like he's private, he doesn't understand her lifestyle, he doesn't want to be a part of that, and like he didn't let her be bejeweled. You know, that whole line. So it's kind of like, and I mean that's totally like fair and valid, and like I hope he's happy, I hope they're happy, whatever. But like I was like, Harry Styles knows what is up. But it's also like that would be an incredibly messy couple because they're both so busy and influential and yada yada.
It's a lot of
but
pressure.
At the same time, I was like, yeah, I was like, is he the only one who like really kind of gets it? But for as many gay Taylor speculation there's 5 times the amount around Mr. Styles.
Oh yeah.
the Larry ship of it all.
Yeah.
What did you guys like? What was like? I mean, obviously, I like was very aware of the Harry Taylor relationship at the time that 1989 came out, but I think I was 14 or 15, so I don't even remember like if I was very online at the time. So like, what was your kind of like take on it? Like, what were you seeing and like thinking?
It was a moment.
I never really shipped them, but like I understood like why they would be together, why they would relate to each other, but like I don't know. It didn't excite me personally. Because I think maybe the One Direction of it all, like I don't know. I was kind of over One Direction at that point. Like
yeah.
It made no sense to me at the time. I just thought it was just a weird match. I still kind of do optically. Like they're both very attractive, but it's just he looks like a baby.
I was gonna say he looks like a baby. I mean, she kind of does too, but it's just something about him. Maybe it was the hair at the time, like his hair flipped, like you know what I mean?
Also, like it was around the time she was dating the Kennedy boy. She had a habit of dating people like that were 17, 18, and she was like 23. It was just a weird, optically, it was a little weird.
But before that, wasn't she dating people who were older?
We're older.
So I think maybe that.
She course corrected a little too much.
Yeah. Like, definitely like thinking about them together now, optically makes almost less sense to me. I think he's cool and trendy, and she's cool and like totally like she's still very like millennial cool, and she's also like some of her outfits, just some of her style choices. I'm like, it's cool because you're Taylor Swift. Whereas like he feels very trendy. He feels like he knows what's going on in fashion. He feels like he knows what's up, and like the tattoos and everything. Like he's so cool. And I don't feel like Taylor Swift really gets described as like cool very often. And like she said that before. She's like, I don't get described as cool. I don't get described as like sexy. Like she's, you know, she's not those things. She's like so many different other things, but that it almost like doesn't make sense. Like she almost like doesn't seem like hip enough for him.
I think the 1989 era, she definitely had that potential.
Yeah.
In like that Bleachella era, she definitely can be cool. I wonder if, especially now after seeing the Lizzie McGuire outfit, if she is trying to actually just be more relatable to her fans by having less style. I mean, but I say that, but then when you look at the 1989 era style, there's always something about her style that never hits. So it could just be her.
She's an icon. She's a genius.
Oh,
she is the pop music industry. But I've never been like, people have never been like, she's a style icon. She's not Zendaya. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
Like, it's not like that. Like, I don't know. And I feel like I totally, totally agree with you. Like, thinking about Harry Styles, I just think about him like he's so baby girl. Like, he's so baby girl. And I love him. Like I know so many girls think that he's like so hot. Like he's kind of like the heartthrob a lot of like, especially, you know, even like girls in their young 20s, like whatever. And like when I look at him, I'm like, that's like my baby girl. Like I don't see him in that context. Like I guess he's like attractive, but like I totally agree. He's kind of like a baby. He's older than I am, but he's like a baby.
Well, it's so, and I get why he always picks models, but like optically it's weird. Like if he was with someone our size, maybe the baby girl thing wouldn't be as intense, you know?
Yeah, okay, I really see him with like a hip and cool like barista or like something like that. Do you know what I mean? Like not like a fresh off the runway supermodel.
He does it to himself. He like really like, I think baby girls himself.
He baby girls himself. You know, and I'll support him. I'll support him through that.
Yeah. I will say, like, being the primo age for the Taylor Swift Harry Styles thing in real time, it didn't last long, but those paparazzi photos where she has the fox shirt, they were everywhere. They were hard to get away from. It's a weird day because you can see the paparazzi followed them all day. At one point, she is holding a baby.
Yeah, I've seen the baby.
Like nothing really makes sense about that. And then all of a sudden, you get the meme where she's alone on the boat and they're over. It was a blip in time, but it created this album potentially. So thank you.
Totally. And I think it was probably like a whirlwind thing, and I'm happy. I'm happy, like for the most part, she seems like very chill and like amicable with like her exes. Because it's like, first of all, that was so long ago. First of all, like that both created art for us. So like we did it for the career.
Yeah.
You know? So I would love to see them collab. I would love to see them just hanging out. I would love to see more of like that duo. But yeah, like in a way, like there was a moment where I was like, this is it. But I do think the more I think about it, I'm like, this is not it.
No. And have you guys seen that video or like the pictures of her and him recreating the Dirty Dancing? Like,
from back then?
Yeah. It's weird.
Oh my god.
It is weird. But it happened. It just seems like something you dream about, but that didn't actually happen. But it happened.
Yeah, that relationship, because that was like one of the first, other than obviously the Kennedy relationship. So it's like she went from like the Jake Gyllenhaals of the world, the John Mayers, like we're with these old guys and like they're driving me around, they're taking me like whatever. She's dating Harry Styles. The pictures of her in the Fox sweater really, really give me my mom will take us if your mom can pick us up.
Yes.
Like like it kind of gives me like 14-year-old relationship, which is like if you're not friends with the person that you were like dating when you were 14, like get over yourself a little bit, like we were children. So it makes sense that they're friends, but yeah, that whole moment definitely gives me that vibe.
Yeah, it was a blip, it happened, but I still think it would be fun if we get a second 1989 Taylor's version album with collabs and Harry Styles is on style, just really for the play of it all.
Yeah.
I feel like if she had thought about it and if she had ever thought that was a good idea, it seems like he would be down.
Yeah.
He just seems like he's down for a little fun time. Like I feel like now in his career, he's like kind of goofing off, which I think he should be doing. I love it. I love goofing off Harry.
Yeah. He's a cutie pie.
Cutie pie baby girl. Sweetie. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, any other 1989 thoughts?
I feel like I could have 1989 thoughts till the end of time. And I don't know, like I guess I was really thinking about the line in I Wish You Would when she was like, you always knew how to push my buttons. You gave me everything and nothing. And then she goes, stand back wasted. I'm like, I've never felt it that way. You know what I mean? Like there's so much in this album that I really could like go like line by line and like sink my teeth into. But I think it's a masterpiece, and I think Jack Antonoff, and I think, you know, Taylor Swift and Harry Styles, truly. Where would we be without the Harry Styles day?
It's true.
The day that we're in a relationship.
No, I think this album, especially I Wish You Would, with that song especially, she's able to hone in on what she was talking about for the past 4 albums as far as this like wish fulfillment. Like I wish you would come over, you know, come out in the pouring rain. But I think she's honing that in a little more on this record, which is really cool.
Definitely, especially like to hear that like a lot of Fearless or like a lot of Speak Now is like fiction. She just like wrote that about like what she wanted or like what she wished would happen or what she thought love was going to be like or whatever. And I feel like by the time 1989 comes out, like she's really experienced and like been through some shit, and she is like, this is actually what it's like. And then when you listen to like the real life what it's like versus like what you thought that she thought it was going to be like, it's like a crazy like parallel. Like it's not Kissing in the Rain at 3 a.m. It's literally like, I just wish you would do what I ask, or like I just wish you would be the person that like I've idealized you to be in my mind. And it's like sad because that's like actually real real life. Like I want to live in the world that baby Taylor thought it was, and it's not that, you know.
Yeah, but it could be better. I would say 1989 is better. Like life being messy and fun, and then coming out of that and, you know,
just embracing it.
Yeah. And like even for me, finding that person and that person being like your ideal version, but everything being messy around it and life happening is way cooler than idealizing things in like a Fearless or Speak Now way.
Yeah, totally. I agree. I like think if it's not complicated, it's like not as fun, you know. And then it also like makes it seem like worth it. Taylor,
she's great. She's the best.
She's literally the best. I don't know what I would do without her.
No, I know I give her such a hard time, but I love her.
I feel like this album might be my favorite too of all her albums. Like I didn't realize it, but like re-listening to every song just made me think like, wait a minute, these are all really good. Like I love these songs.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like there's not a single skip on the record. No. I think. Yeah. which you can't say that about every record. You can't say that about Lover because me's
No.
on because me's on there. But yeah, no, this is totally like a no skip record, and I think it's so good.
Agreed.
And it kind of was like New Testament Taylor, Old Testament Taylor. Like I did this and Reputation, I think are right dead in the middle, where it's like we're changing it. You're either along for the ride or you're getting left behind.
Well, I feel like Reputation, as much as I love that album, it's one of my faves. I told you when that Taylor's version comes out, I'm gonna go feral. Like that's my season. But it is one that really does test you. Like if you weren't in it when she released Look What You Made Me Do, like me, I don't like that song. But if you got off, you got off. If you stayed, you're in it for life. I feel like that's a real Swiftie test.
Yeah, I am a Look What You Made Me Do stan. I want that played at every big life event in my life. I think Reputation, I'm on record saying Reputation is my favorite Taylor Swift album. Folklore and Evermore are totally different to me. And then obviously Midnights is a zero skip album for me as well. It's so hard, right? But like I do think Reputation's my favorite album, and Look What You Made Me Do, I think is insane. I think that whole record is insane, you know? And when Taylor's version of Reputation comes out, I will not be okay. Is your prediction? So after 1989, the only two we have left are Taylor Swift and Reputation. There's been a lot of discussion about like which is more significant to be her final reclamation. Like, is it more powerful to like reclaim her name last, or is it more powerful to like reclaim Rep last? Because obviously people think Rep is coming next.
I would say that would be the most logical.
Yeah.
But
like
what
Rep and then Taylor Swift and then debut.
But I'm going to say, because what is the quote where she says it's only going to be my name and my reputation? Maybe she means that literally. It could be debut, Reputation.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
poetic.
I'm excited. Like, yeah, I think the progression of the re-releases has made a lot of sense so far. Like I haven't been shocked by the decision in which like they've been released, the timeline, but this has like kind of been the one after 1989 comes out, like I'll be totally like whichever way it goes, I'll be shocked, I think.
Yeah.
And then when she's like releasing Reputation the first time and she says there will be no explanation, there will only be reputation, that makes me feel like that's like a very like final like sentiment. So I'm like, I don't know, but I'm excited.
I know debut is gonna be crazy regardless though, because Taylor Swift is a different person entirely.
I'm like, what is that gonna be like?
She's not country. You know what I want though? You know what I would want more than I want Style featuring Harry Styles? I want Tim McGraw featuring Tim McGraw.
Yes, that would be cool.
That's all I want. He came to the Eras tour, and that's the night that she sang Tim McGraw, and it was like, think about like right now if we like started making music and we made a song called Taylor Swift or whatever, because like she idolized him, she loved him, right? And like he was her Taylor Swift at the time, and so she wrote a whole song about how she's like a super fan of his, basically being like, that's my favorite song. And then him being like a fan of hers now, like in her audience.
That's cool. Truly insane.
These are the things that like I'll call my mom about and just like go off, and she's like, like she's a good listener, but I'm just like, you don't understand me.
What's her favorite era?
Well, she's very into Midnights. She's a runner, so there's like a lot of good tempo songs on there. She's a huge fan of Jack Antonoff, huge fan of Bleachers. So I think anything that like he does, she's obsessed with. And like I know she's got the Anti-Hero featuring Bleachers version like definitely on repeat.
It's a good one.
It is.
It's so good.
With a little dig at Joe Alwyn in there, which I love.
Insane. The film bros insane.
Love it.
I'm upset.
Well, anything else, Brie?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it would kind of surprise me if the last album she re-releases, like if it wasn't Taylor, I'd be kind of shocked, but I don't know. Like, I'd be fine with it either way. But it seems like, you know, like where like something ends where it begins is kind of, I like that idea, but who's to say?
Yeah. In a way, both make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me, that's such a Taylor Swift thing. I don't know if you've ever seen that when she's like, well, I think for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think for me, I totally agree with you. Ending it with debut, when debut is like the first thing, and then it kind of being like that's kind of like the closed chapter, I think would be super cool. But also, who knows?
Yeah.
Who
I'm along
knows?
for the ride. I mean,
Same.
I'll
And we'll
be
be
there.
talking about
Yeah.
that.
I'll be listening.
Well, we'll be calling you in, girl.
Good.
Going
I'm
in
totally
again.
here for it. I am online watching what's gonna happen next. I am an Easter egg hunter. I'm bad at it. I'm totally so bad at like picking up these little hints. Like,
Yeah, I don't know how
and
some
like,
people do it. They're like, oh yeah, like duh, there's like 12 Easter eggs in this one video. Like, hello. And I'm
I'm
like, oh,
so
how did you
bad.
figure
I
this
really
out?
thought I would be better, and I'm bad. So but it's kind of fun because I'm like, I never know what's coming. I never know what's gonna happen.
That's kind of where I want to live, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I could
Yeah.
not be one of those people. Well, also, like, I'm a grown adult, so I can't. Like,
You don't have time.
Yeah, like, I can't solve all the puzzles, but I want to absorb her art and just vibe with Taylor.
Yeah, totally.
But don't ask me to do a puzzle. This
Yeah.
isn't Sudoku. I mean, I appreciate it, but
No, it's so cool that she does that, but I do have a job, you know?
yeah.
Like, I do have things to do.
Give us something
Yeah.
easy.
Yes. Wow. Thank you so much, Georgie.
Oh my gosh, this was so fun. And I literally could talk about this for literally ever. So the time flew by.
We'll come back for
Wow.
Reputation or
I will be
debut.
back. Either. We'll see which comes next. Thank you so much for having me. I literally had the time of my life. This is my dream come true. Truly. I wish I could talk about Taylor Swift all the time.
Ditto. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah, rate and review us on
Spotify, Apple, anywhere you podcast. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.